Vista County has a deep-rooted history, from ice harvesting to stories of a bank being robbed by Bonnie and Clyde.
KTIV's Clayton Anderson went to the Buena Vista Historical Society Museum to learn more of those topics and a lot more in this episode of Hometown History.
At the Buena Vista County Historical Museum, you can find information on the county, such as important Storm Lake artifacts, displays honoring veterans, and a walkthrough of what an old town street would have looked like in the area. One exhibit shows the history of ice harvesting in Storm Lake. When harvesters were able to harvest the ice they had cleaned off, they used ice chisels, 6-foot-long ice saws, and pike poles to harvest the ice, which was grueling and tiring work. Starting in 1911, 3 companies, including Lamar, Kilgore, and Peterson & Son, began commercial ice harvesting.
And they had a machine that would take them kind of like an elevator, but it was pretty crude. And sometimes the fellows would ride that up, which was pretty dangerous. And of course, then when the ice came off of that, well, they had to drag it back into and get sawdust covered over all of that.
In addition to the museum, you can check out an old one-room schoolhouse and a log cabin that have been preserved and moved to this very site for the public to enjoy. The Prairie Log House was built by a homesteader in 1871, a half a mile east of Rembrandt, Iowa. It has been preserved now for people to tour. The schoolhouse is the Elk Township School, which is what was very common dating back to the late 1800s. One teacher would teach students from 1st to 8th grade. It is preservation like this that you can expect from the museum, as it even has a genealogical library.
If you're looking for an ancestor that lived in the county at any time, we probably have something or another that we can find for you. We have probates and obituaries and church directories and all kinds of wonderful items.
Museum volunteers say they are always looking for new exhibits and would encourage people to check out the museum if they haven't in a while.
We always joke we are never going to ever run out of things to do here. I mean, there's always something that needs doing, categorizing stuff or fixing stuff or making new displays and such.
That'll do it for this episode of Hometown History. Join us next time to see where we head next. In Storm Lake, Iowa, Clayton Anderson, KTIV News 4.